What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burd Files podcast. Today, I'm doing part 4 of the senior segment where I talk to seniors in the class of 2020 about their high school experiences and what's going on in their life right now regarding this entire coronavirus situation. Today, I've got Dominic Bartley. You may know him from TikTok. He's got a large following. He's also a premier athlete. He is a 3-year varsity soccer player as well as an extremely quick cross-country runner. I never met Dominic personally, but I knew of him at my time at Elkins High School, and it's a pleasure to have him on. I'm gonna send it over to you, Dominic, for a short little introduction.
Yeah, so yeah, like as you said, I have a good following on TikTok. I've been on varsity for 3 years and did cross country. We won district and I was on top five in across the whole year, so it was pretty good. And yeah, so I'm on this podcast to I guess explain for myself to whatever questions he has. So I'll leave it over to you.
All right, cool. So, from my understanding, Fort Bend, the district has actually set up a graduation ceremony for you guys a little bit down the
Hmm.
line. There's a lot of schools that may not necessarily have those ceremonies. There's just like little parades or stuff that they don't get the full experience. You know, uh, how do you feel? I don't know if they had set up that graduation, if they had told you like beforehand, but how does this whole coronavirus kind of just affect your senior year? Having to finish online, how does that make you feel just about the end of senior year in general?
All right, if I'm being honest, like it sucks because I was planning on, going to prom. I was planning on, having these, parties, after parties, just having a good time with my friends because it's senior year and that's what you do when you graduate, before you graduate. So all those good plans were canceled, and like we couldn't reschedule it. So it really sucks that you can't really have fun now because all you have to do is just sit in the house and I guess make the best out of quarantine. That's what I'm trying to do right now. But yeah, it sucks. And for graduation, like I don't really like the fact that we have to walk across a field and that the fact that they gave us instructions so late because today was they put out a message on Schoology with the instructions on how we have to dress on where we go and how we have to seat and like they doing it in like alphabetical order. So I don't know. All of this is just it's just weird and new to me. But at the end of the day, I just feel like it is what it is, and you have to make the best out of the situation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, there's some aspect of resentment towards just like everything that's happening. I mean, do you think, you've endured 4 years of high school, so arguably some of like the toughest and wildest times of people's lifetimes. Do you think this takes away, having this kind of strange, untraditional graduation? Do you think that takes away from your accomplishment of just completing high school?
I feel like it does because you work you go through all this stress, all this depressing states, all of this just to walk across a football field. I feel like we worked harder than that to I guess receive a bigger accomplishment in life. So like now walking across a football field after 4 years of working my hardest, I think it takes away from all of this, but it is what it is.
Yeah. What are you looking to do, let's say in the next, 8 months to the next year, just kind of regarding being done with high school? Like, what's this next, I don't know, page of your life? I don't want to say chapter, but what does this look like for you?
All right, for me, I have a lot of like I guess personal issues I have to take care of.
Mhm.
So I have to like I guess be independent for a while before I decide to, move on with the next chapter of my life. I have to take care of a lot of things that I don't really talk about with you because like I don't know, just I
Mhm.
just never I just never found like I guess the right time to do it or I just never like got the chance to do it. So I got to take care of a lot of things. And with TikTok, I got a large following on TikTok, and I feel like I can take that somewhere else if I continue to work towards, I guess, um posting daily or keeping up content and all that stuff. Because
Yeah.
right now I have what 19.8K, and if I continue, I can easily get to 50K, 100K. Make a career out of that. But that's just an option. That's not like what I'm relying on. But I feel like I can take that into the next chapter of my life if I actually try.
Yeah. Yeah, so TikTok's a big thing, obviously, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But you know, like when you have resolved these personal things, do you have like did you apply to colleges, and where are you looking at going, and what do you think you might want to pursue? Excluding TikTok, let's say just kind of going down that a different path from social media, once all of these personal things are resolved.
Yeah, I applied to two colleges that in state, not out of state.
Mm-hmm.
I applied to U of H and Texas Tech. But what I was looking and going to was business and have an interest in real estate. And yeah, I think I have the right mindset to, I guess, pursue my social media business because I'm really good at that. So I feel like for real estate, I can just, promote online, or I can just, I don't know, just I can be able to talk to, I guess, customers and persuade them to, I guess, I guess buy a house, or persuade them to like at least be interested. Because I feel like I'm really good at talking to people and really good at promoting on social media. So I feel like that would be really good in my future, a really good career path.
Yeah, I think like your TikTok account, it's grown. I don't know when you started exactly, but I mean 19.8 thousand followers, that's no small feat. And there's definitely a
Mm.
sense of, marketing in that, just kind of growing your brand, and that could be extremely beneficial in just other branches of business. So so looking at, coming back to TikTok, when did you start TikTok, and when did you start thinking, maybe I can take this seriously and start to grow this kind of brand I've built for myself?
I started TikTok in last summer, June. I think it was June. And I started it as a joke. I downloaded the app because it was trending at the time, and I was like, why not just download it and just see what this is about. So when I first downloaded it, I never thought of myself as a creator. I thought of myself as a watcher, just like watching videos, thinking they're funny, just scrolling to the next video. But then I started to make videos as a joke, but they didn't do good. They were just whatever. But then I made one video um about, I forgot what it was about, but that video got what 300,000 views, 56,000 likes, and I was like, well, if I can make videos like this, then I can continue to make videos and grow my following. So I didn't start to take it seriously, but I was just like, well, why not just post more videos to see what happens? So I kept posting daily, and then I made another video, and that video got roughly around 500,000 views and what 70,000 likes. So then I was like, okay, well, I can make a following out of this, because at this time I had what 3,000 followers, and I grew to 6,000 followers in the span of what a month. And then I started making more videos about, I guess, females that I liked, and then that got me to what 10K. And then I just started, being myself, making more videos, and I started to grow rapidly in the span of months, like 3 months, and I went from 10K to 19K in like a span of a month or two. So if I continue this, I guess where I'm at right now, I feel like I can grow a huge following, and be an influencer to a lot of people, because I get a lot of DMs and snaps about how what I'm doing is building self-esteem of females, because they feel like their culture is not accepted in today's society. So they feel like what I'm doing is helping them. They want me to continue doing what I'm doing. So if I continue that, then I can just be a an influencer, and I guess get a following off that. Not saying I'm doing it for clout, because I wasn't. I was never doing it for clout. It was just something that I liked. It was just something that I was like basically my personality, and I was doing it, and people would follow it and people would continue to like it, and then it was just me.
Yeah.
And but obviously when you get like a large following like that, you're gonna get a lot of hate. People are gonna hate you for it. People are gonna say you're doing it for clout, and it got to me at first, but now that people are like supporting me, then it's whatever. Like it's just like people are gonna hate. It's just how today's society is.
Mm.
But
And
yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah, I mean, well, I used to, you go to a large public school. I mean, Elkins has a lot of kids, anywhere from, I mean, I don't know the exact number, but, probably like 3,000, anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 kids, right? It's a big school, and you have a large following. So, do kids at school, kind of see you as the TikTok guy, and what is their reaction to you kind of blowing up and growing your following?
Okay, so I don't know if I'm seen as a TikTok guy because I don't really converse with a lot of the seniors because I didn't really have a good time with them or good experience with them. So I was more like tuned on the juniors because they were just my favorite group. So I guess I was seen as a TikTok guy to them, but to the seniors, I was seen as the guy that fetishizes over brown girls and the guy that they hate and the guy that that's a problem, I guess. So that's basically how I'm seen as the seniors. But to the juniors, I guess I'm the TikTok guy. But I'm one of the TikTok guys, Jenna, because there's a couple of them. But
So
yeah.
do you think there's like a certain level of toxicity that not only comes from TikTok itself, but also just the people around you in your everyday life at school? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially at Elkins. Elkins it's so toxic, and it's been like that forever. And especially this, I don't want to like bring down the senior group, but a lot of them are toxic, and they're two sided. They're fake. They hate on people for no reason, and I don't know if it's just the seniors in general, but I feel like in today's society, they take everything offensive. Like they take the smallest thing offensive, and they try to make a big deal out of it, and they try to bring me down for it. Because that's what happened to me. They tried to bring me down for something that I had no like deal doing or no problem with, or I was just being myself. And like I guess I don't know. I just feel like people don't want to see you succeed because they just want to hate on you for no reason. Like it's crazy, but like it's pretty much what it is right now.
yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the world we live in. Especially on social media. I mean, people are extremely open to hating and
Mhm.
saying just nasty things behind the screen, and it's kind of like you're right. Elkins is definitely a place where people don't necessarily need to hate behind the screen. They kind of just do it. And but yeah, I mean, it's good. Like you don't let it get to you, and you can see that just with your continuing daily uploads and kind of
Mhm.
keeping on that same style that you've been on. And continuing with your TikTok career, have you maybe looked into collaborating with other influencers, creators, or potentially, I don't know if 20,000 followers is like large enough to gain sponsor traction, but where are you in terms of just kind of collaborations and sponsorships?
For collaborations, I mean, I haven't really looked into it yet because I feel like okay, so 20,000 to me is that's not a lot because the people that I follow have what millions and hundreds of thousands of followers and like that. So I feel like 20,000 just is just a small fan base, but to other people that's a lot of people. But to me, it's not. So on the collaborations, I haven't really looked into it, but sponsors I've gotten just one sponsor about this company called Space Lights. You promote their product, and basically after you sell four products using your referral code, then you get 10% of each commission. So I basically my first sponsor, and but that's pretty much it because with the collaborations, I haven't really looked into much of it. But when I build a larger following, then yeah, I'll start looking more into the collaborations with big influencers to I guess build my following and become a better influencer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think I don't want to like uh, my assumption, like the way I see your content, is it's more like kind of veered towards like females, right? Like I feel like a lot of your engagement is from the female population on TikTok. Do you
Mm.
think that branching out, making content, do you think that that's going to continue to be your style as you grow, or do you think you're going to start adding in different things, maybe like I don't know, just anything, adding different aspects of just your lifestyle and things to maybe gain more engagement from other parts of TikTok?
Yeah, I feel like as I start to grow a lot more, I feel like because right now I also make other content, but
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't do as good as the content that I usually make. But as I start to grow, I'm gonna start adding more, different varieties to my content. I'm gonna probably make a probably YouTube channel, and tell my followers to follow that, so I can, I guess, make a lifestyle career off of that too. But yeah, as I grow, I'm gonna start adding more, aspects, varieties to my content, and maybe post about my daily life or like vlogs, something like that. But yeah, I feel like in the future I'm gonna start looking into more things like that.
Elkins is a 6A school,
Hmm.
with and varsity sports. It's tough to make the varsity teams, and you were able to make that Elkins varsity soccer team in your sophomore year. So just kind of
Hmm.
walk me through, your mindset playing soccer, maybe between, coming from as a freshman who wasn't on the varsity team into sophomore year, making that varsity team, and what your kind of your feelings and reactions were towards that.
Okay, so my freshman year, I was on JV. There's three teams. So there's varsity, JVA, and JVB. Now I was on the JVB team with a bunch of freshmen. So my freshman year, I didn't really take anything seriously. It was just like, having fun because we were bad. We were so bad. We didn't we what I think we won one game out of 12. It was bad. So, we just took it as a joke, all that. But then my sophomore year, no, my okay, so my summer year, the summer of that freshman year after school ended, going into sophomore year, I started to train a lot more with my friends and my family, starting to like take it seriously because I wanted to make the varsity team. Because prior to that, I mean before that, my brother was on varsity when he moved here, and I wanted to carry on the legacy of my last name. So I was like, maybe I should start taking it seriously, and try to make varsity. And my sophomore year, I started. My coach saw that I was, I improved a lot, and I was working. I wanted to be on varsity. I even, had a conversation with him. I was telling him that, I feel like JVA is just too easy for me. I feel like I should be on varsity. He said, you have to prove it to me. So that's what I did. So I made varsity. Of course, a lot of the seniors and, the upperclassmen, they were like too keen on it at first. They didn't think I belonged there. But after a couple, practices, they understood that, I had potential to, you know, be great on the team. And that's what I proved to them. So as my feelings, I feel like I wasn't surprised at all because I knew I was gonna eventually make the varsity team my sophomore year because it was too easy for me on JVA, and I feel like I had to carry on that legacy for my brother, so that's what I did, and it was just natural to me because already before going to Elkins, I already knew the coaches, I already knew the players there, so because of my brother, and so I was just already a part of the environment there, so it was just whatever natural to me. But yeah,
How many like underclassmen made that varsity team? I'm sure it's not a lot, especially with the
I
size of the
think it
school.
was I think it was three underclassmen, and then the rest of them were juniors and seniors.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a huge accomplishment. So you kind of you're confident in yourself sophomore year that you're going to be on that varsity team.
Hmm.
Um, and then junior and senior year, I'm not sure if you got to complete the soccer season senior year, but junior and senior year, you're kind of more established as that varsity player. Do you think that how much better do you think you got, and is soccer something that maybe after your senior year you still are passionate about and maybe want to pursue, maybe down the line?
Okay, so going into my junior year, um, it was different because I guess it was different. It was a different coach, and just the way he did things was different to me. And I had, going into my junior year and before that, my sophomore year, I had a lot of passion for soccer. But I'm not trying to like disrespect him, but this is the way that he would coach us. It made me lose my passion for soccer. So I guess I started to like, just slack off, not take things as seriously because I didn't agree with a lot of the things he did. And it wasn't just me, it was like half of the team. And so I guess I didn't get a lot of playing time that year, and it was just whatever to me because I didn't really like the sport anymore. And senior year, I was just like, why not just do cross country? Because I feel like I'm better at that anyways. Because I was always a kid with a lot of stamina. Like my mile time was always in the 5 minutes. I was really quick. So um, I don't know if you know of this person, but Kieran he recruited me to do cross country,
Mm-hmm.
and I was looking into it, and one day I joined the practice and I did good. So I was like, I'll just do it with you guys, and not expecting a state district championship, but we won the district championship. My first couple of months of running cross country. So I feel like that was a big accomplishment of my 4 years at Elkins. I still have my medal over there, but I was not expecting that at all. But my passion for soccer really just faded away after going into my junior year and my senior year because of just the coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Elkins, but you definitely found a new home because that Elkins cross country team, I was in track for the first half of the first semester, which is all I kind of had at Elkins. And I know that Coach Morin, I think that's his name, Coach Morin,
Mm-hmm.
he pushed those guys hard, especially like Jackson and Kieran and those top runners. They definitely improved just from there. Do you think I think coaching is definitely a huge part of every sport, and a bad coach can like as you said lead to the loss of passion. Do you think that
Mm-hmm.
the coach of the cross country team was a factor in you kind of sticking with cross country, or do you think it was just all kind of you trying to find something new to do?
It was I feel like Coach Warren was a factor in me sticking across country because he was the first coach that was actually hard on me. He would get on me for like messing up or slacking around, and he would almost got kicked off the team 2 times because I was always like slacking around or joking. So then after I realized that he was being serious and I need to step up. I started to take things seriously. I started to improve, and you know we won a championship out of that. But I feel like Coach Morin is a really good coach. He deserves that championship. He deserved being recognized as one of the really good coaches at Elkin, and I respect him for that because if it wasn't for him, I feel like I wouldn't have found that passion of running, and I feel like I wouldn't have created the bond I did with the cross country runners in general. But yeah, that's really good.
I mean, running a mile, sub six. I think what are you running like? What was your PR for the mile?
Uh, 5:17.
5:17. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, running sub 5:20 mile times. I mean, that's extremely quick.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that that now that you've kind of soccer's kind of diminished out? Do you think cross country or just running in general will be like something that you try to pursue down the line?
I feel like it's actually something I would try to pursue, but I thinking about it now, I should have done cross country or track all 4 years. If I was looking to go to get a scholarship athletics because I never coming as a freshman I never thought soccer was going to be like hard to get a scholarship, but then I realized that it's actually one of the hardest sports to get a scholarship.
Mhm.
So I feel like track would have been a lot easier for me. Plus, with my talent and my potential, I feel like I could have got like plenty of scholarship because of that. But I'm still looking into it now. But I feel like might have been too late for me because I started in my senior year, which is like I barely had time to just attract attention of my talent and things like that.
Do you think that throughout your high school career, that your high school experiences have prepared you for the real world and real life?
Okay, so academically, I feel like high school hasn't prepared me for the real world, because I feel like some of the things that they teach is it's not going to be of use in what is like 5 years from now or 2 years from now. I feel like it's not going to be in use. But I feel like some of the like personal physical experiences, I feel like that will prepare me for the real world, because Elkins taught me how people are in general, and how like life is going to be after after high school. And I feel like I know what to expect from people now based off of what I experienced at Elkins. So I just in that aspect, I feel like it has prepared me for the real world, but academically, no.
So for I don't have many listeners, but for the people that do listen, a lot of them don't go to Elkins. A lot of them are from my current school now. So if you could kind of just describe like the culture and the people and just kind of things that go on at Elkins that prepare you, like specific things that attributed to your preparation for this real world. Because I know I can think of a couple, but just from your perspective after doing 4 years, what are some things specifically?
Just in general, you gotta like watch your back, because a lot of people are like fake at Elkins, and it's obvious. Like a lot of people did not like me at Elkins because of my preference, or because of, I guess, who I was. And then as time started to grow, and like I grew a following at Elkins, people started to change, or people started to you know to talk to me a lot. They wanted to become my friend because of like my following. But before that, they didn't want to have anything to do with me. So you gotta watch your back. You gotta know who your real friends are. You just gotta be true to yourself. Also, another thing that I learned is you gotta learn how to you gotta learn to love yourself before you can love anyone else. You gotta find yourself before you decide to commit to someone, because um a relationship in high school is a lot to deal with. There's a lot of stress because of a lot of the people that are surrounded there, a lot of the people that you have to worry about. And just stay true to yourself, love yourself. Also, don't start drama, because I was involved in a lot of drama. Like, it's crazy. Don't start any drama, because drama leads to violence, and you don't want to have violence when you're in high school, and you don't want to, like, I guess, mess your career up because of a stupid decision.
Yeah.
So I just feel like you have to just be true to yourself. Don't start any drama, and basically that's pretty much it. But yeah.
Yeah, I think just like I mean I was at Elkins freshman year from August to November. Actually December I spent some time, not really a part of the community but just kind of, isolated, but um being an active member of just like being in Elkins for that amount of time, I think you're definitely right. There's definitely a sense of you have to wash your back.
Mhm.
Not only because people are some people could be two-faced. I'm not saying all people, but also just because stuff happens at Elkins that maybe, especially at my current school now, is not going to happen.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of different things going on at Elkins. I'm not going to like say what they are, but there's just a lot of different moving parts at Elkins for sure. And sometimes stuff can hit you out of nowhere.
Mhm.
And I think that's definitely prevalent. You talked about these, experiences. Could you speak a little bit about the general culture of Elkins and how you kind of fit in, or maybe were outcasted from that culture?
So Elkins is for everyone that goes there, everyone knows it's a extremely diverse school. It's really diverse. And you know, my freshman year, I guess I was seen as an outcast because I didn't really talk to anyone. I was known as a quiet kid. But as I started to, like, I guess, put myself out there and gain more friends, I started to fit into like all groups, because I guess my personality was, I guess, I don't know, it's attractive feature. Like people like that about me, my personality. So I just feel like if you want to, put yourself out there, you want to be known, you have to talk to a lot of people, and then when you talk to people, then I guess they introduce you to more people. So if you're known as I guess the quiet type, the laid back kid, I don't think you're gonna make a lot of friends or that like that at Elkins. You gotta put yourself out there. You gotta talk to people. You gotta just do what you gotta do. But but yeah, as a freshman, I was seen as a quiet kid. I didn't really talk to anyone because I wasn't used to the environment. I wasn't used to a diverse school like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess as time went on, I started to adapt to the environment, and it made it easier for me to be myself around the a diverse school like that.
Yeah. So you talk about that adaptation, and that leads me into my next question. What do you think is the biggest change in you from your freshman year to now? And I know you talked about, being the quiet kid, and now you're probably, more outgoing, flamboyant. But what do you think is the biggest change other than that?
The biggest change from that was, I think it's maturity, just the way I think in general. Like I guess my freshman year I was very close minded, but now I feel like I'm able to see both sides of any situation. I'm able to just observe things from every aspect. So I feel like maturity is my biggest change, and I feel like if you possess a mindset like that, it can take you a long way. Because if you think of things differently, then you can just see things ways that people would never think of. And I feel like that's the biggest change from my freshman year.
Okay. Um, and so I wanna kind of transition into good stuff. You 4 years. There's, like I said before, there's goods and the bads. But what from your memory is your best experience, the best memory, something you're gonna keep with you, forever, from your high school experience.
Best memory, creating the bonds I did with the soccer group and the cross country group, because I feel like that bond is unbreakable. I feel like if I didn't meet those people, I feel like I wouldn't be who I am today. Because those people, those group of people in the cross country and the soccer group, you know, they they I guess they were a big impact on my life, allowing me to bring out my actual personality, allowing me to be myself. So I feel like if I didn't meet those people, my life would be a lot different from now. So, but yeah, that's I guess what I can take from my 4 years.
Okay.
That's something I'll never forget. That bond I created with them.
Now, on the contrary, what would you say was your least favorite experience? Something that you also might carry with you for the rest of your high school career, but just something that was, negative in your 4 years.
Mm, Negative in my 4 years. I feel like me worrying about females. I feel like me thinking I needed a significant other to be happy was something that I'll never forget. That's the negative experience. I feel like that made me a lot more depressed, stressed, and like just made me feel down in general.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
a learning experience was that I didn't need anyone to be happy. I just needed to learn how to love myself. So I feel like that is something I'm gonna take with me in the long run and use it as a learning experience for the future. So that way, I can just be me, and not worry about anything like that. But yeah.
Yeah. So, and that leads me into the next one, the biggest regret of your high school career. And I know you just talked about focusing a lot on, girls and not focusing on yourself, but can you give me something that you regret, maybe not doing, or maybe you regret actually doing, in your high school career, excluding, focusing on girls?
I feel like my biggest regret was not focusing on like school that much, like my future, because I was always in the midst of wondering what I wanted to do instead of actually knowing what I wanted to do. Like I always like, just put it off to the side as like, oh, I'll figure it out, it's whatever. But like now it came to my senior year and I still didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I feel like that would be my biggest regret because you don't get time back. Time is away for anyone. So I feel like not focusing on that will be my biggest regret.
Mhm.
But I also feel like in the future, I feel like everything happens for a reason. So now, I'll learn to, do things when I need to like stop procrastinating, stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay. And so, for me now, I've kind of experienced both worlds. I went to Elkins. I also went to, a public middle school. I went Elkins, obviously large school. My middle school, large school. Now I go to a school with 250 kids. So I go to a really small school now, in a different state, completely different environment. And I've kind of experienced both worlds. To you, what do you think, being in a school with so many people, what is a good piece of that? Like what is a positive of going to, a large, diverse school? And what is one negative piece of that as well?
So a positive of going to a large, like diverse public school is you getting to meet a lot of new people, like people that you would never think you would, I guess talk to, like make tons of new friends, you know, just I guess be around people, like, just have fun in general. I feel like going to a lot of public school like that, that's a really big, impact on I guess someone's life. And then as a negative, I guess a lot of the fake people there, because going to a public school like that, you're gonna get that group of people that, that'll just hate you for no reason, that'll just despise you. Like even if you just try to be yourself, they'll just hate you.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of people, they don't have the right mindset to deal with the amount of hate. So I feel like the bullies, the bullies in a public school like that can get to a lot of people, and which is why a lot of people commit suicide like that. So that's a really big negative impact on going to a lot of public school.
Yeah. And I think for you, I think something that's, definitely prevalent is like, who you are and you love yourself for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's definitely people who don't. They see themselves as, lesser than, whatever it is they're comparing themselves to. And, just you being that person who, definitely is content with who they are. What can you tell people who maybe are not in that same situation, maybe are in a worse place, on how to learn to love themselves?
Well, if you're in a depressed state or in the state I was in before, for now, you just need to just think about your life now and think about what you can be in the future. Like think about what you're doing now. Think about your friends. Think about who you're surrounding yourself with. Just think about, are they actually the people that you want to have in your future? Are they the people that you need in your life? Just think about things like that. And think about how you're treating yourself in general. Like, are you treating yourself with the amount of respect that you need, or are you giving people the are you trying to fix people's situations? Are you constantly trying to help people's situations instead of focusing on yourself? Because that's what I found myself doing all the time until I had to realize that that wasn't the right way to approach things. You just need to learn how to love yourself, distance yourself from the people that don't bring any value to your life, and just have a small circle if you need to. Have a small circle, just be around them, and just try to prosper in that aspect. But yeah.
Mhm. Cool, cool. And to just kind of finish off, this interview, as a high school graduate, you've now, completed what, everybody behind you is dreaming of completing. Maybe not in the most ideal way, but you're done.
Hmm.
what's one piece of advice that you would give to just any high schooler? You know, maybe it's the eighth grader coming into ninth grade, or the new sophomores, the new freshmen, the new juniors, and the new seniors. What's one piece of advice you can give them that can help them throughout the rest of high school and life?
Focus on your future. All the the negatives in your life, all the negative aspects. Just try to use that as as motivation to help you in the future. Just focus on your future, know what you want to do, and that way you can succeed in life without having to go through the struggles, without having to just feel as if you don't belong in this world. Just know what you want to do, and just cast out all the people that are trying to hate on you. Just do what you got to do, because at the end of the day, they're not relevant in your life. They're only hating on you because they see you succeeding. So just focus on your future and do what you got to do. I feel like that's the biggest advice, or the best advice I can give to an incoming freshman or sophomore. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that pretty much is the end of my questions for you. If there's anything that you want to add, maybe plug your socials. I can definitely put a screenshot up on the video when it goes up. Go ahead and do that right now.
Well, just follow my TikTok and my Instagram, which is just my name, Dominic Bartley, nothing else, no space. But also, I wanted to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
How did you deal with the change of environment, moving from Texas to, you said, Colorado?
Yeah, Colorado. I go from this big public school, living at home with my mom and dad, to a different state and living at the school. I go to boarding school now. Like I actually live at the school. I think it definitely took a little bit of time. I'm a little bit more acclimated to that because I've been, I have family in Taiwan, which is really far away, and every couple summers, every 2-3 years, I go back and I stay with them for a long time. So I'm a little bit more acclimated to not seeing my family for these long periods of time. But it's definitely a huge adjustment because, like you said, Elkins is it's a diversity gold pot. And the school I go to now is, we have diversity, but it's, nowhere near as diverse as Elkins. And so I think it definitely took a lot of adjustment and it took getting used to, for sure. I mean, like I don't think I really got a hold of it for the first, month or so. But, after that, I feel like I was welcomed into the community and I feel like I've been given the opportunity to thrive where I'm at now.
So, following that, how did you and your parents come to this decision to send you to boarding school from a public school?
Yeah. So, I play ice hockey, and that's, something that I definitely look to pursue in my future. And so we had been thinking about potentially going, sending me to boarding school before I even entered the ninth grade. We went to some, showcases and I had some traction from different boarding schools. But, there was an event that happened in my freshman year that just kind of ultimately was like, we were kind of on the fence, boarding school or stay in public at Elkins and stay home. But, this kind of, block in my road definitely was a huge motivator as to why I went to boarding school. It was kind of a 50-50 decision prior to that, but after that whole, thing happened, it definitely went to more of like a 99% chance I'm going. And that's kind of how we decided to go. So hockey was a big motivator, as well as just overall education. Like you said, like Elkins is, I'm not hating on that, because there's certainly good teachers at Elkins who really care about their students, but there's also the ones that don't. And I think there's a lot of what you do at Elkins is look at PowerPoints and take notes off of PowerPoint. You're not really like learning, you're just absorbing. And I think at the school that I'm at now, I definitely have more of a support group, and I think the teachers are there because they care and they really want to help us succeed. But I think it was a combination of academics, my current situation in hockey, that made that decision for me to go.
So you see ice hockey in your future? Like you
Yeah.
feel like you can make a career out of that?
Yeah, I don't think, I'm not gonna play at the highest North American level.
Mhm.
Definitely not going to the NHL. But I think a goal of mine could be to play professionally in Europe.
Mhm.
Division I college is that, you know, right here. That's like a reach goal. I think playing like after high school is definitely something I'm interested in, and then eventually maybe going to play professionally in Europe if I am given the opportunity.
So, hmm, you're a sophomore. You said you're a sophomore, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a junior next year, but yeah, I'm a sophomore right now.
So I feel like I don't really know too much about your situation, but I feel like you choosing to go to boarding school, you choosing to move away from your family, your friends to pursue your future. I feel like that was a really tough situation, but I feel like that mindset that you possess, moving to Colorado to pursue your future, I feel like that's a great mindset, and I wish you the best of luck because not a lot of people will just up and move because they want to just I guess play hockey or pursue the education like that. Like I don't know anyone that has done like up and move like that. So I my respect goes to you from doing that, and I wish you the best of luck in the future.
I
And
appreciate that.
I appreciate you for having me on this podcast. I feel like I got to know you personally from just expressing myself and telling me things about yourself. But yeah, I appreciate you for having me on this podcast and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Thanks again, man. I'm gonna let you go and do whatever it is. Play the game with the boys. But thanks
Mhm.
again for coming on.